Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Emilia Elsani. I'm a 4th semester student of English Education Department at UIN Syarif Hidayatullah, Jakarta. Today, I'm here to provide a comprehensive review of a thought-provoking book that called On Fire by John O'Leary. So, this video made under circumstances for my extensive reading class, and this is my first time ever made a textbook review. I hope this video can bring something new for you, something new insight for you about a book that next I'll be reviewing. So, what is On Fire by John O'Leary? This book is a powerful and inspiring memoir that captures the essence of hope and the incredible potentials within each of us. This book also filled with inspirational messages and powerful insights. It is important to explore both its advantages and disadvantages to offer a balanced perspective, right? So I hope we can talk about this throughout more into this video, and yeah, let's get started. But before we jump into the book, there's Indonesian phrases that say tak kenal maka tak sayang. So we need to know who's reading this and who is John O'Leary. Okay, let's move to the next slide. John Joseph O'Leary, born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri, and was born at January 17, 1979, is not just an author, he also a motivational speaker and a life coach. His experience and the wisdom he gained from his own journey of healing and personal growth make him a true inspiration to readers worldwide. Through his writing, John empowers individuals to overcome their adversity and to live a life with passions, purpose, and burning desire to make a positive impact for the world. On Fire by John O'Leary recounts his remarkable journey of survival and transformations after a devastating childhood accident that left him with severe burns. However, this book is much more than just a personal narrative. It is actually an invitation to embrace the challenges we face and find our inner strength and ignite the fire within us to live a life that's full of purpose and significance. Okay, next move to the table of contents. There are 7 chapters in total, as the title of the book, which is the 7 choices to ignite inspired life. And I'm going to briefly explain to you about the chapter one by one. The first chapter is called Do You Want to Die? It's pretty scary, right? But in this chapter, John asks the reader about our being on this planet. How are we feeling about it? About living. He then tells us about his inflection point, which is the day when he got burned accident. Then he asks about our inflection point. And if you guys still, if you didn't really familiar with inflection point, John described inflection point as a pinpointed moment in time that changes everything that follows. So in this first chapter, the first choice to radiate inspired life is embrace the freedom of its life and choose to own it. The day he got burned, her mom challenged him to choose not to die. The night he came home, she freed him to choose to really live. Thus, this chapter encourages us to own the moment, to truly live and be alive. Move to the second chapter. It's called What Are You Hiding? So in this part, he talked about his scars that he had been covering up for 20 years. And all the scars now are transformed into his badge of honor, which is, I think, one of the powerful moments when I read it. The scar remained, yes, but that means the wounds has healed, right? So they were evidence of a miracle, as John said. So the second choices, or the second step to radiate inspired life, is living on fire. Means you aren't afraid to know and own your story. You celebrate the scars you have, and you're ready for it, and you're willing to live life honestly. Move to the third chapter, which is my favorite chapter. It's called Are You All In? This reminds me of one of the songs that I listened to by Stray Kids. It's the same. I think this song relates with this chapter. So in this chapter, John emphasized us to extinguish indifference, ignite potential, and discover the power of purposeful life. So to live a radically inspired life, you must choose to go all in each way, or in every way, with a purpose of greater than yourself. Find your purpose. When you know your why, you can endure anyhow. And this is actually one of my favorite quotes from the book. It's simple and powerful. This phrase reminds us of the importance of being on fire with purpose. And then let's next to the fourth chapter. In chapter 4, it's called Why Are You in Jail? This is also one of the interesting chapters for me. It changed the way you ask a question to transform the answer you get. And then this part stimulates the mindset of living a life. Like, do you choose to be a victory, or do you choose to be a prisoner of life, to think that life is actually a jail? So life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. I think that's what John said. Then move to the next chapter, which is chapter 5. It's called Can You Say Yes? This is actually my third favorite chapter. So John said that comfort is popular, but courage changes life. In this part, John shared his story during his recovery to learn again how to walk. And this was one of the most painful chapter throughout the book, I think. And at the end, John trying to emphasize that he chose to feel the pain, choose the courage to learn how to walk again. I mean, he can easily just surrender, choose to stay in wheelchair for the rest of his life, but he didn't. He chose to learn how to walk again, to get through all the pain again. So the fifth chapter reminds us to refuse to become stagnant by purposely growing and intentionally stretching in every area of life. It supports you to not staying on your comfort zone. It's okay to feel weird sometimes on new experience, as long as it's good for you, I think, and as long as it's safe for you. You have yourself, and I think that was all you need, and that was enough. Move to the next chapter, which is chapter 6. It's called What More Can You Do? This is interesting chapter. The opening quotes for this was, "One life can and always does change the world." I think this is really powerful. In this part, John talked about the figure who helped him learn how to write again. Another painful chapter. So there is this local celebrity athlete named Jack Buck. He was helping. He was indirectly helping John to write again. Actually, John said that the key to greatness in life is to choose to pursue significance over success. And John thinks that this was reflected through Jack. He paid attention to others around him and took action to make their lives better. But by his consistent investment in others, the ripples effect on his life radiates outward long after his death. So I think caring about others is one of the most important step for you to change your life into an inspired life, a better life. Now, move to the last chapter. It's called Are You Ready? This is one of the most craziest and interesting chapter. Also my favorite, I think. So, the opening of this chapter, it said that fear and love are two great motivators. While fear suffocates, love liberates. And that is so amazing. I felt goosebumps right now. In this chapter, John shares how he managed to find his true love. The moment he decided that he had to stop trying to convince her, his wife, that he was lovable, he let go of his fear at the moment, because he was feeling that he would always be alone. Meanwhile, that it was not true. He opened the door to his heart and loved his wife, even though it wasn't exactly the way he had planned. In doing so, he unlocked the 7 choices to ignite a radically inspired life, which is to choose to let go of fear and operate, lead, and live from a place of unconditional love. Instead of him trying to get, anything from the relationship, he began to just love, just enjoy the moment, enjoy whatever time they had together, and instead of focusing on dating or desires, the focus shifted to simply loving her and enjoying the moment. No string attached, no expectation, no hidden agenda, and it was enough. Okay, now we move to the advantages of the book. I think what makes this book has a great advantages is the emotional connection that John trying to show with the reader. I feel relate with one of the stories, and I think this has something to do with his writing. He has an amazing storytelling skills that makes me feel connect with his experience. And then the second is practical strategies. So within each chapter, at the end of each chapter, there are challenges. So we can practice ourselves with these challenges. Let's say in chapter 3, will you go all in? There is the challenges that John taught to us. Let's say, what's one activity that you will go all in this week? It doesn't necessarily big activities. It could be like, let's say, cooking mac and cheese. Well, will you go all in to cook that mac and cheese? Let's say you prepare the ingredients, you prepare the tools to cooking that mac and cheese, and how you decorate it. And yeah, that's one of the challenges, a small challenges that I think can improve my life, to improve my significance of life. And then the third, I think the advantages, the strength of this book is motivational insight. Of course, this is a self-help book that I found to be very helpful. You know what I mean? I don't know, there's a lot of things in this book that helped me to open up my eyes, open up my thoughts, and reflecting of myself, and bring some motivation. Okay, I think that will be it for the advantages. Next is the disadvantages. There's some limitation from this book also. One aspect that consider is that the book has limited perspective. I think John could put some of his family perspective over his inflection point. In the second, there are a lot of triggering content for people who might have experienced the same thing as John. It could be a trigger memories that haunted you. And then the last disadvantages, I would say, would be the non-linear narrative. let's say when he was 9, and then it could be jumped when he was already have a kid. And sometimes I got a little confused, but at the end I still get it. And now we have come to almost the end, but not necessarily the end. This is moral messages. One of the profound moral messages conveyed on this book is the significance of embracing our unique journey. It is said that you cannot always choose the path that you walk in life, but you can always choose the manner in which you walk it. This means that we may not have control over the circumstances or events that occur in our lives, but we always have the control of our attitudes and choices and actions. While we cannot determine the path that life has presented for us, we have the power to decide how we navigate and respond to life itself. And it emphasized that the importance of personal responsibility and the ability to choose, like a positive mindset and determination in the face of challenges. So, in conclusion, I would say that On Fire, The 7 Choices to Ignite Inspired Life by John O'Leary is an extraordinary book that has the power to ignite a spark of fire, resilience, and purpose within each of the reader. I highly recommend this book to anyone who's seeking inspiration, guidance, and a renewed sense of purpose for their lives. That's all from me. I hope you can get something for it. Thank you for watching. If you find it helpful, you can subscribe perhaps, and you can leave a trace in comments how you feel about this review, how anything that maybe relates to you from a summary or review of the chapter that I've mentioned before. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope I can see you again in the next review. I will attach the link if there's another review. So yeah, thank you so much. I'll see you later. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye.